In the heart of Cape Town, surrounded by bustling city life and the shadow of Table Mountain, lies a fortress older than the city itself. The Castle of Good Hope, built by the Dutch East India Company in 1966, has seen war, colonization, torture, and tragedy. But some say the walls of the castle haven't just stood the test of time, they've trapped something inside. I am Di, and I'd like to welcome you to Infinite Soul Connections Spooky Transcriptions. The Castle of Good Hope, located in Cape Town, is not only South Africa's oldest surviving colonial structure, but also one of the most notoriously haunted locations in the country. Built between 1966 and 1679 by the Dutch East India Company, the castle served as a military stronghold, prison, and administrative centre. Its pentagonal design, with 5 bastions named after the titles of William III, has withstood centuries of history. What makes this fortress even more intriguing are the ghost stories and eerie experiences that visitors and staff alike continue to encounter within its stone walls. It was meant to be a stronghold, a safe harbour for ships rounding the treacherous Cape of Storms. But what was built for protection became a prison. Hundreds of years later, the walls still whisper. The castle was originally constructed to defend the settlement from seaborne threats, and it stands proudly on the Cape Town waterfront. Over the centuries, the Castle of Good Hope has played an important role in the region's history. It housed soldiers, prisoners, and later served as the headquarters for the British military. It also became a hub for trade and administration in colonial South Africa. But amid this historical significance, there lies a more unsettling aspect of the castle's legacy: its reputation as a hotbed for paranormal activity. Over the years, countless reports of paranormal events have surfaced, with various apparitions, ghostly sounds, and inexplicable phenomena being regularly witnessed by both staff and visitors. The haunting history of the castle is inextricably tied to several tragic and violent incidents that occurred within its walls. One of the most infamous figures in the castle's haunted history is Pieter Gijsbert van Noort, the governor in the 1720s. Known for his cruelty, Van Noort sentenced 7 soldiers to death for deserting their posts, overriding the more lenient council ruling. As one of the condemned men stood on the gallows, he cursed Van Noort with his dying breath. That same day, Van Noort was found dead in his chair, his face frozen in a look of surprise. Today, Van Noort's spirit is said to still haunt the castle. Visitors often report hearing him cursing under his breath as he walks the castle grounds, perhaps regretting his last harsh sentence a little too late. Another prominent spectral presence is Lady Anne Barnard, the first lady of the castle during the 18th century. Lady Anne is known for her hospitality and turned one of the large halls into a grand ballroom for entertaining guests and dignitaries. Her ghost, still dedicated to her hosting duties, is said to appear uninvited at gatherings, especially during events with important visitors. Her spirit is frequently seen by the dolphin pool, where she once took leisurely baths. Lady Anne also left behind a legacy of mystery in the form of a cursed painting, a depiction of peacocks in a garden. Legend has it that anyone who dares move the painting will die, and as a result, the artwork remains covered at the castle today. In 1700, a soldier hung himself from the bell tower after being sentenced to death. Since then, the bell has rung by itself, even though the tower has been sealed shut. No rope, no wind, just the tolling of a restless soul. The bell tower within the castle is associated with ghostly occurrences. It is said that a soldier unalived himself by hanging himself on the bell rope and continues to haunt the tower. Despite the bell tower being walled off, the bell has been heard tolling by itself. Some believe the soldier's restless spirit also roams the area between the Leerdam and Oranje bastions, still tethered to his tragic end. The castle is also home to the Lady in Grey, a woman who haunts the area near one of the castle's old gates. The spirit was first spotted in 1860 by a young woman and was later seen by many, including Princess Margaret in 1947. The Lady in Grey is always seen crying, her face obscured by a grey cloak. After her bones were found, the sighting stopped, and her spirit is now believed to be at rest. A mysterious black dog is said to haunt the grounds of the castle, known for leaping at visitors before vanishing into thin air. This ghostly hound is harmless, but adds to the eerie atmosphere of the castle. The dog's appearance often precedes other unsettling phenomena and is said to add an extra layer of supernatural intrigue. Visitors to the castle can often hear unexplained footsteps and voices echoing through the narrow corridors and the eerie windowless dungeon. The dungeon beneath the castle is cold and unnaturally quiet. Prisoners were chained, beaten, sometimes drowned when the tide came in. Visitors report screams, sudden cold drafts, and being touched by unseen hands. The dungeon, known as the Donker Gat, or Dark Hole, was used for torture, and prisoners often perished from the rising tides that would flood the area, drowning them in seconds. The anguished spirits of these prisoners are believed to still haunt the area. In addition, a ghostly couple is often seen quarreling in the front courtyard. When approached, they vanish without a trace. The Buren Bastion is also notorious for its flickering lights, which many believe are the result of restless spirits. Back to the good old Donker Gat. The Castle of Good Hope's dark history is also tied to its reputation as a place for brutal punishments. Throughout its time as a prison, the castle's torture chamber saw unimaginable acts of cruelty, with various forms of torment meted out to those who dared defy authority. for offences such as refusal to work, practicing a different religion, piracy, or sabotage. Slaves were subjected to the cat-o'-nine tails, a brutal whip with metal hooks that would tear through flesh. The punishments were severe, with victims often receiving between 40 and 200 lashes. Using the castle horses for brutality. In another method of torture, slaves were fixed in place while horses were used to pull from the outside. The result was often dismemberment, a gruesome form of punishment. The donker gat, described as a pitch-black hole, was used to break the spirits and minds of prisoners. Some were left in total darkness for up to 13 months, enduring isolation and despair. The sounds of their suffering are said to echo through the castle's corridors to this day. Despite the terrifying tales of ghosts and hauntings, the Castle of Good Hope remains one of South Africa's most significant historical landmarks. It is open to the public, where visitors can explore its exhibits, walk through its ancient halls, and even witness its ghostly presence firsthand. As one of the most haunted buildings in the world, the Castle of Good Hope remains a place of both history and mystery. So if you plan to visit, be prepared. You may just encounter a ghost or two along the way.